Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today's presentation is about statistical analysis focusing on descriptive statistical analysis. Well, the presentation is a part of a playlist on observational research. I hope you watched previous videos, and I need to remind you that we are here falling under the observational research family, which is under the quantitative research. Now, the objective of today's presentation is to learn to perform a descriptive analysis of the data and check the data distribution in relation to the location, to the spread and the shape, and describe one group, sample. I'm going to talk about descriptive analysis, how to do the location test, the spread test, the shape test, cross-tabulation in relation to hotspotting, association correlation, and some takeaway messages. Now, first of all, descriptive analysis. What does it entail? Well, descriptive analysis is simply the measure that is focused on descriptive analytics. It is used, or it is a process of using data to identify trends and relationships. And in this sense, we look at the mean, at the mode, at the median, and different other similar tests, and we do not go further with the inferential statistical tests. Now, why do we do statistical analysis? Well, as you can see, there are 6 major steps that we do statistical analysis, but when it comes to descriptive statistical analysis, we focus mainly on describing the sample and characterizing the sample or our target population. So we use it for those main purposes. Now, first of the tests that is commonly used in descriptive statistics is the location test. And what is the location test? Simply, what are the measures of location? First of all, we work on the mean, which is an average. We look at the median number in the middle. We look at the mode, which is the frequently occurred value. And for sure, the mean and the median are used to show the central location of the data, and it informs us where the data points tend to cluster. So this is very important to take into account as one of the types of tests are the location. Now let's move to another type of test, which is the spread. The spread tests. Well, here when we talk about the spread, this is another type of measures. Here we look at the standard deviation. So the extent to which the data points deviate from the mean. We start to calculate it by defining our mean and the distance of each data point from the mean, which is squared, then summed and averaged. So we look here at the squared root of the variance, and the variance is the square deviation of the variable from the mean, and it is defined as a range or a difference between the minimum and the maximum. Now let's move to the following point, which is also another type of test, very important as part of the descriptive analysis and characterization work, which is the shape, defining the shape. Well, the shape is a way to define how our data is distributed. Is it symmetrical? Is it negatively skewed? Is it positively skewed? And this brings us to the term skewness. Skewness is simply the measure of symmetry of the variable distribution around its means, and it must be performed by visualizing our sample, and based on our visualization we can define the skewness of our sample. So this is also a very important test on the measure of shape. Now let's move to the last test of the descriptive analysis that is famously used, which is cross-tabulation. And cross-tabulation is very important because cross-tabulation can be used in hotspotting and in many situations when we need to distinguish the most influential parameter and visualize them in a table. So cross-tabulation is simply a tabulation of 2 or more variables against each other, creating a multivariate frequency distribution, as you can see. And cross-tabulation is identifying the frequency of certain values or relations between the variables. So this is also a very common way of conducting descriptive statistical analysis. Now let's move to the correlation and association, even though they are not part of the descriptive analysis, but you need to have an idea about them because actually they will be part of the inferential statistical analysis. Now, correlation, what is correlation? Correlation is a measure of how strongly 2 variables are interrelated. And the range or this relation can be ranging between 0 and 1. The higher the correlation, the stronger the variables and are statistically related. And a negative correlation indicates a negative relation, and a positive correlation coefficient indicates a positive relation. It's very important, even though I am explaining the descriptive analysis, to understand that this is part of the inferential or the parametric statistical analysis. And after we are done with our main characterization and descriptive analysis, only then we can decide if we wish to move and perform inferential statistical analysis or not. And actually this is the most interesting and the most attractive part of statistical analysis, correlation, which is not part of descriptive analysis. Now some takeaway messages before I leave. First of all, descriptive statistics give you an idea of the distribution of the data and allow you to better characterize it and understand it. It can be done on the level of your sample, and it can be done on the level of the population. Descriptive statistics examples in a research study include the location, the spread, and the shape, like we described, and also the cross-tabulation could be part of it. And a strongly simplified way of interpreting the result is the cross-tabulation and the correlation, because they can allow you to better visualize the results and bring it forward for any person who will benefit from your analysis. Well, by that, this was the end of today's presentation about observational research. I hope you watch following videos that will proceed and go further in detail with inferential statistical analysis. Today's presentation was about descriptive statistical analysis. Thank you very much for your attention.